Amnesty International, James, put out a report today. They're calling Israel an apartheid state. I don't hear their criticisms about the Uyghurs in China and many other issues as vociferously as I do the Jewish state. I tell you, this is institutional anti-Semitism, surely.
Of course it is. It's completely institutional anti-Semitism. There's no other word for it. To call Israel an apartheid state when Palestinian Arabs can sit in the Israeli parliament, hello, I'm sorry, that's not what an apartheid state looks like. You know, they should look at the current state of things on the ground, Peta. The Gaza Strip, that's not occupied by Israel. That's run by Hamas. The Palestinian Authority runs the West Bank. It is not occupied. There's not an apartheid system in any meaning of the word. And I'll tell you what, on many, many levels, including personal liberties, the rights of religious minorities, the rights of sexual minorities, Arabs have a much better chance and a much better life in Israel, in the state of Israel, than they do in the Gaza Strip, than they do in the West Bank. These are facts, you know, and for Amnesty International to go and make Israel the great boogeyman of human rights when you've got China, when you've got Russia, when you've got all these other countries, you know, deeply anti-Western, but I guess that's what they like because they're anti-Western, because that's what Amnesty International has become now. You know, then they just say, oh, well, you know, it'll be like the Sydney Festival, we'll just beat up on Israel.
Yeah, but this is the thing, isn't it, Corey? I mean, last week, we've got 1 in 4 Australians saying they don't know anything about the Holocaust. I find that in itself horrifying, but that's where we are. We've got this global rise in anti-Semitism. You've got Whoopi Goldberg out there saying, very disturbingly, the Holocaust was not about race. She's been given a 2-week suspension, but she hasn't been cancelled. And then you've got this issue now with Amnesty International.
Yeah, it's a huge problem. I mean, the new racism, of course, is to say you're not racist and to discriminate against everyone who's not the same colour as you. And that's mostly in the Black Lives Matter community. And that's what Whoopi Goldberg, of course, did so grotesquely last week. I suspect she's been suspended more to mitigate the damage to the corporate than for any genuine outrage on the left, quite frankly, because anti-Semitism and racism is actually entrenched on the left. When they point a finger at someone else and accuse them of something, there are always, you know, 3 fingers pointing back at themselves. And they know in their heart and in their soul that they do not believe in equality. They want superiority of one race over another. They want to find bugbears to fuel their grievances and to, you know, entrench their own authority and power. It's a very disturbing trend. You can see videos all over the place of attacks on Jews, attacks on white people and Asian people simply for, you know, their religious beliefs or their ethnicity. It's just an appalling indictment, I think, on institutional leftism, and we've got to put a stop to it as soon as we can, Peter.
Keep speaking up, Corey and James. Thank you for coming back, 2022.